The Obama administration is expressing its condolences to the people of Ethiopia and looking for a smooth transition of power. Joining us now from the State Department is Ambassador Princeton Lyman, who has a long history with Africa. He's currently the special envoy to South Sudan and Sudan. We welcome you, we welcome you to our show, Ambassador Lyman.
It's my pleasure, Ndimyake. Good to talk to you.
Now, obviously, in your role as envoy for South Sudan and Sudan, you've been closely interacting with Prime Minister Zenawi, who was quite a key player in some of the negotiations that were taking place. Give us your reflections about him and his role in resolving that conflict.
Well, his passing will be a great loss to us. He was always a source of great counsel, wisdom, but he also played a very dramatic role in helping bring about stability in Sudan and South Sudan, most particularly in providing peacekeepers to the troubled area of Abyei and in assisting in other ways. So we will miss him greatly in terms of the peace processes in Sudan and South Sudan.
Now, in addition to missing him greatly, I understand even in his sick bed, he was consulting constantly with the chief mediator of that conflict, the former South African President Thabo Mbeki, and obviously very involved in that, in trying to resolve it. Is anything, or do you fear anything changing as a result of his absence?
Well, President Thabo Mbeki, as you know, leads the Africa Union high-level implementation panel and has been the leader on the negotiations. The two of them, of course, work very, very closely together. But I think the processes will definitely proceed. Negotiations are scheduled to resume between Sudan and South Sudan August 30th under President Mbeki's auspices. So I think the process will definitely proceed, and I expect continued strong support from the Africa Union.
Moving on now to talk about what is going on in the South Sudan issue, at least in terms of the oil deal since it's been signed. Any predictions of when the resumption itself will start? I've heard dates ranging from anywhere between now and December.
Well, the agreement was very, very welcome because both countries need a more stable source of revenue. And the shutdown of oil was creating economic problems in both countries. The agreement was a very good one for both countries. It will have to be implemented carefully as they inspect all the wells and get all the procedures and processes up. It also relates to other issues that are being negotiated at the same time. So when you put that all together, I would say production won't start for at least several months, and revenue probably won't be significant until early in 2013.
Now, what about the possible threat that these outstanding issues around border demarcations and other outstanding issues that were not really resolved prior to this deal, and insistence by Khartoum and also Juba that they need to be part of that deal? How much do they threaten whether or not this resumption will actually happen?
I think that it's very important that they make progress on them. One of the first issues is the demilitarization of the border, and that requires acceptance of the map that the African Union has put forward and the implementation of an agreement for demilitarization and monitoring of the border. If that is put into place, it will go a long way to alleviating the threat of further clashes along the border. Then there is a very great importance to getting humanitarian access and a cessation of hostilities in the areas of southern Kordofan and Blue Nile, because that too affects the security along the border. If we can get progress toward those in the next few weeks, then the oil agreement can go forward and be implemented with some confidence.
And what stands in the way of that progress? I know the UN Security Council has given both parties or both countries up until September 22nd or face sanctions.
Well, the first real problem is that the government in Khartoum has not accepted the map on which demilitarization would take place. And they definitely must do so and do so right away. South Sudan has accepted the map, And once that's accepted, we can move ahead on the other elements of demilitarization. So that's the first priority, and Khartoum must come around to accepting the map. Second, there are good proposals before Khartoum on humanitarian access. We are waiting for their response to a plan of action. Again, Khartoum has the action here, and we need to hear from them right away.
Well, we cannot thank you enough, Ambassador Princeton Lyman, for your time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And Ambassador Princeton Lyman is the U.S. Special Envoy to Sudan and South Sudan.